Yeah, so before we left for Peru, about a week and a half before, Doug brought in this little children's book. Like, he brought it into class that day, and I just remember sitting back like, all right, well, what's he about to do? And he was sharing with us about the book, and I remember in that moment, like, because he was about to read it to us, I remember like sitting back, and I felt like God just gave me the peace to be childlike and take on that mindset of just being his son.
As soon as we started reading, I was picking up on the message that the author had in the book, and the message was just so pure in the way that it can speak to kids, and I just thought it was so beautiful, and the author did such a good job of the way he portrayed the message.
In preparation for our trip and going down and communicating with Pedro Suarez, we talked about the heart of their ministry and how we could come alongside of it and serve them. One of the things we came up with was the opportunity to go after some of the poorest families' kids in the school system close to their church.
We had read You Are Special back in the States, and we were told that we were going to be going down to Peru, and down in Peru we would be reading the book to different schools. And
I was under the assumption that we would be reading it for the kids, and that we'd go to schools and that we'd spend time reading it to them.
So we get there and we find out that we are going to be performing a drama for these schools and for these children. And we have like costumes and silly makeup to wear and all this stuff that we weren't expecting. And we find out that not only are we acting it out, we're acting it out to the story being read in Spanish. So all of our cues and everything we had to do was being spoken in Spanish.
We, as the American team, actually played all of the main characters. So there are three main characters, but the one who's the focus of the whole story, his name's Punchinello. And when they asked, oh, who wants to be Punchinello? It was like, I'll be him. You know, I raised my hand, I was like, sure, I'll be Punchinello. So being the main character was a very interesting journey for me. Being this beat down person in the beginning of the story, I got to act out what it would look like for me to go find my creator. And once I found my creator, I got to see what he thought of me, what he said of me.
What we found was that when God opened the door for us to perform these dramas inside of the school system, we were able to win favor with teachers and principals and the PE coaches. And for those that didn't have a Bible, we gave them their first copy of God's Word. We also got to have favor with the kids, and whether it was a hug, a high five, or just a smile, we really got to connect with them and let them know how special they truly are.
For me personally, getting to watch everyone on my team, basically my family, find a heart for getting behind this play and put it on display in front of those kids. I mean, getting to go out there and be goofy in front of a whole bunch of little kids, but give it all I had so that maybe they'd focus on what they're hearing and what they're seeing, and that seed would be sown that they are special.
It's about like how you shouldn't care about what other people think.
You know, some kids might think, oh, I'm worthless because this and this and this, but really through this story it kind of teaches you like, no, you really are special, and the one who created you is the one who thinks you're special, the one who calls you special, so you should believe what he says.
What God thinks of you is the only thing that matters, and that's kind of what the book talks about in its own way.
I remember thinking, God, I really hope that these kids can grab a hold of this message because of how important it can be.
I kept praying like, God, like, let them see you in me. And as I would, like, I remember from the first practice we had, my job was to look out and not care what other people who were in the drama were doing around me, but I knew who I was, and like I was supposed to know that and to look like it. Every time that I would act it out, my heart was like, God, let them see that this is who I am, that you are in me. Let them see you in me. Let them see your light in me. And that's just what I prayed every time, like, God, it's not about me. Let them see you in me, that I know who I am, that it really doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about me. So from the story, You Are Special, the main message and the point that we hope, and at least I know I pray that the kids got, is that it really is, the most important thing really is what God thinks about them. And He does think they are special, and He loves them. And I know we can get caught up in the things of the world and what our friends or our peers think, but the most important thing is what God thinks about us.